Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding on Chulin level of base. We're starting Chulin Daf Lamed base in the Mishnah. Zog the Mishnah. Nafla Sokin. Person is doing shchita, and while he's doing shchita, the knife falls on the floor. Big beer, he picks it up. Naflu Kalov, or his kalim, his clothing fall off. Big beer. V'hishchit is a sakin, or he went and he sharpened the knife. Ve'af, he became tired. He sharpened the knife. He gets a little tired. He doesn't have courage to continue. Ubacha veiru v'shochat. His friend comes and this continues the shita. Imsha kedei shchita psula. So here comes the idea that one of the 5 halachas of a shchita is shehiyah. Shehiyah means taking a break. You start the shchita, you take a break. Now I'll take a break in the shchita. How long is the break? A problem of a break? Kedei shchita. The amount it takes to do shchita. We'll see in the Gemara. Kedei shchita of what?
So we're talking about the sakin is not shchita.
Yeah. He's doing regular shchita. Follows that.
A reason why he got tired? Is that is it hishkas sakin?
I think it's just an example. He was, rubbing the knife, and it's a lot of koyak, and he didn't have koyak to continue. Shimon Oimem Shah Kedei Bikur. Shimon says not Kedei Shchita, but Kedei Bikur. So we'll see in the Gemara more about it. What does it mean the Kedei Bikur? We'll see. So the Gemara, my Kedei Shchita, Omarav Kedei Shchitas Beim Acheres. The time it takes to shecht another animal. So if he's shechting, then he stops the amount of time it takes to shecht another animal. So then we say that it is Shiyah. Amarav Kanim Rav Aser Rav Kedei Shchitas Beim Ulebeim Avoif Loif. Do we say it depends what you're shechting? If you're shechting an animal, the Shiyah will be a animal. If you're shechting an oif, the Shiyah will be an oif. Or Dilma Beim Uleif. Or maybe you say, it's the shear, the exact shear is in the Rabban. I mean, one of the 5 halachas of Moshe Messina is Shiyah. But they come and tell me exactly the amount of time is not exact. We don't know. We're going to give us a time. So we say the time beim or more l'kula. Omerlei lo yavo badichno bechavivi. I wasn't so. Badichno means that I didn't feel so comfortable or so. Lo daisi gos, Rashi said bedoidi, because Rav Chia was the uncle of Rav. So he says, when I looked at halacha, I didn't feel, so at home that I could just go and question it. The shaila. I didn't have in other words, you're asking a good question. I was looking by the Rebbe. Rebbe says you have to do shihiyah. How long is the shihiyah? Does it depend if it's oif or not? I didn't ask. Idmar Omarav. Then Rav said, "Kedei shechitas beim lebeim of loif loif." So Rav was machmir. Rabbi said, "You go. It's beim for beim. For oif you have to be less." The Shmuel Omar Afilu behem or loif. Even by oif, you could have a shia behem. Chekyo suravinu mabirchon afil behem or loif. Reb Chanina Omar k'deshiavi behem or acheres v'yishchit. So Maj is saying not only the time it takes to shecht an animal, but the time it takes to bring an animal in addition to shecht. You have to bring it down. You have to bring it to here. So the Gemara says, what do you mean to bring? How long will it take to bring an animal? Well, it depends where the animal is, right? Because it depends where you are. So it says the Gemara, if you go based on what it's going to be in the world, whatever it is, so then it depends. The person has an animal far away, it's a longer time. If it's a shorter way or not. So you never know what it is. Talking about that you need to go, when you shecht the animal, you have to put the animal on the floor. It's like throw it on the floor, so it's not going to move. So that's what he needs. In other words, to bring an animal for somewhere else, that is not included in the shiyah. Shiyah is for the time the shechita starts. Machlekes says, what does it mean time the shechita starts? The time it takes to actually do the knife, or the preparation when you put the animal down? Pick her up, and sit her down. So it's a time that you prepare the animal. If it's sitting down a little bit, you stand it up to put it down in a way that it works, that you can do shchita, and you have to have dako Beima dako dako, beima gaso gaso, says Rashi, may loif loif too. That was not even happening in the other one before. We said before all behemoths are the same. No, even behemoth depends which behemoth. It's different when you're shechting a cow, you have more time. Shechting a sheep, you have less time.
So he's adding two things, both. It's not just the hatel, it's the hagbo, and also the.
So that's a longer time, and the other is shortening the time. That you have also each animal depends what it is. Person who's using a bad knife, it takes much longer to shecht. It could be the entire day. It could take him 7 hours to shecht, no problem. Meaning, the Gemara's adult knife, right? Meaning, as long as he's not doing a break. The issue with Shia is a break. If he's not doing a break, even though it's taking very, very long, it's not a problem.
Aren't you worried about Drisa if you're using a dome?
No, I mean, make sure that if he's sure not to do a Drisa. Says the Gemara, what happens if he does multiple breaks? He does a few short breaks. Each break is less than shear, but if you add them all together, it's a big shear. Says the Gemara, why do you bring a rayo from the bad sakin? Says the Gemara, also the Loisha, there was no break at all. And when there's no break, I don't care, it takes a long time. But when you have breaks, does it join or not, we don't know. So here Rashi goes to Shittasoi. Rashi says that he's doing Shiyah in the end. If you remember, in the end of Dav Shabbos, and with base Shabbos, we learned that Rashi learns in the take of the Gemara over there. The Gemara said, let's say he did the Roif well, then the Miyud did Chalod. So here's a similar question. He did Shiyah on the Miyud. And there we mentioned that the Achorim asked the question, what do you mean? Once you did the Roif, he's kosher. So the Achorim learn in two different ways. One way is that, yes, it's kosher, but you can still ruin it with the Miyud, because the Miyud continues the Ma'aseh Shechita. Or that's what for sure learns. Or it's, and this is how the Beis Halevi brings it, and how the Netzi bring it. They say Pshat is really the Torah said the Ruba Kekula. Ruba Kekula means you don't do the whole thing, you can do the Roiv. But it's not that the Roiv is not the Koil. It's not that the Miyud is nothing. Instead of the Koil, I can do the Roiv. But if I'm doing the Koil, I'm not going to do the Roiv. So in America, it's said to be one big Shechita. Two different ways to learn the Rashi, and over here the same thing. That's what Rashi learns. Pashas B'Chalikas Rishayim will apply over here as well. What is Miyut Sibonim? So according to Rashi, it means the last Miyut. And was a stake or similar to before. According to Tosis Leil, Miyut Sibonim was the beginning of the Miyut Sibonim. Start with the beginning. If he waited the amount of time it takes, he did Bikur. What is that? You have to go to a Chacham. So, says the Gemara, right? Meaning, Chacham depends on what the Chacham is. Is he around? Do you have to travel? Where is he? Means that the Sheikhed himself, the guy is shechting, is a Chacham, he has to shake the knife. The amount it takes to check a knife for the Sheikhed himself, he's right here. He takes the knife and checks it. That amount of time, it's a much shorter amount of time than we said before, which is a new Shechita. Okay, Zok the Mishnah. Shochat is a veshet, uposak is a gagir. So veshet is the veshet, meaning that's the eating tube. There's a better word for it in English, which is more complicated. And the gageres is the breathing tube, which is the kone. Gageres and kone is the same. So he did shchita of the veshet. Rashi says we're talking about here in a behem. And what he did is he moved the gageres. That's called what? What is the pasuk gageres? That's called ikur. Ikur simonim. Ikur simonim is a problem. We learned earlier if ikur is a problem by a bird, but by animal, moving the simonim is a problem. Moving from its place. So he did shchita on the veshet and he moved the gageres. Or pasuk is the gageres, moved the gageres, the gageres showed the veshet. Or he checked one and then he waited for the animal to die. I mean, he didn't check the other. Very similar to the previous two cases. The second was not done properly. Which means he put the knife underneath the second siman and he checked it. Taste the say means from bottom to top. But the point is he did chalot, he went in the middle, So now all these things is not a good shechita. The shechita was bad. That's clear. Shiloh's, what does it do on the animal? Rabbi Shevi Oimer nevelo. It's a nevelo. The animal is considered to be as if it died not through shechita. Rabbi Kiva Oimer treifo. No, it's not a nevelo, it's treifo. Which means it became possible. It's like a sick animal. Klalo ma Yeshiva. Mishur b'Yeshua. Kali kol shenifslo b'shchita. So if the psul happened doing shchita, nevelo. Why? The pshat is the shchita didn't happen. Kol shchita so karoi v'davar acher goram lo. If the shchita was good, but something else happened, then it's goram lo liposel treifo. Classic case of treifo is once you do shchita, you find the animal has a typhus in it. Rekiva changed his mind. He agreed with the Yeshiva that what? That you go, depends if you have in the shechita or not. So here, when he's shechting and he's doing something wrong in the shechita, the animal will be unavailable. Saying Moshe the Shechet the Chulin v'Oido Rekiva, the more brings Rekiva agreed. Very minu, the more brings a question. Eilu tarfus v'beimo. Here is what makes an animal treifo. Without lemon base and base. Nikuvas. Nikuvas aveshet upsukas agageres. Meaning, you have a veshet which has a hole, or you have a gageres which is more than a hole. It's a longer hole. And it says over there that what's the din? That's the din of a treifo. Why? We just said that if you did something wrong in the shechita, so it's the velo. Hamarava loy kasha. Kanche shochad l'b'soy posak. Kanche posak u'l'b'soy shochad. Depends what came first. Meaning, the Gemara explains. Shochad l'b'soy posak. If he did shechita and then he did psiko, nifselas b'shchita. Meaning, because you started the shechita and doing the shechita, like we didn't finish the shechita yet, you went and you moved the kon. So you ruined it in the middle of the shechita. But Pasak, but if he first came and he cut the kon, and then he did shechita, so it really depends what happens. Is it after you start shechita or not? If you look at Rosh Rashi, so question, does the shechita start already or not before he started moving the kon?
Then we learned before, we were talking about this on Shabbos, the second word, the garment. The garment, even if a miyat is cut, it's not a treif.
Right. You were talking about he moved it or he cut more than right.
Not with the lesson, because we had the Shabbos before, and if he did this part.
Right, so I have to do more than right. Don't have to be a problem.
Then it's
If he did shechita, but if it wasn't shechita,
he did both shemana.
yeah, but if he did it either before he did it, he moved it from its place, or he did shehi, or he did achlado, anything that's not, it wasn't shechita. Shochat is saveshet. Who posak is a gageres. He checked the veshet. And he did posak the gageres, meaning he cut the gageres, meaning he cut it in the wrong way. Or posak is a gageres, the veshet, or vice versa. Nevelo, you just said no. You said depends what comes first. If shechita comes first, it's a nevela. If the psika comes first, it's a shechita, is a treifo. So you're right. The second case is basically a repetition of the first case, which one was going to ask right away. I mean, the way you read it is shakat zaveshet upashas gageret, or post gageret after you start already shechita. Two problems I have with that. Chado dainu kamaiso. That's already, it's the same exact case. Why are you saying it twice? It says afterwards. He did shechita, then he did it. According to you, and he did psika, then he did it. Hello, Amarava, Elu Asurus Ktani. V'yashvim nevelus, v'yashvim treifus. The right thing you say is, he didn't say nevelu, Elu Asura. But what's the din of that Isser? Some of them are nevelu, some of them are treif. So the Gemara, once I'm telling you about different the list of different treifus and nevelus, so this Shadami the Yechezkel. Why don't we mention another? We have another one. If he went and cut down the head, cut it to half, or cut the animal to half, so it's a nevela. before. If you cut off the thigh and you could see when it's sitting down, nevelo. So you have other nevelos. Why mention only that? In other words, Bishlomoy telling you it doesn't. If you're saying not like Rovo, so I'm focusing on this case. This case, it doesn't matter if the psiko came before the shchito or the shchita came before the psiko. Is always going to be a problem. But once I'm telling you that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's an available, the straightforward. I'm not going into the details. If that's the case, so then you should say that the both have a din of a supreme all the nevelos. Says the Gemara, "Kiktani nevelo the limitama b'chayim." And nevelo the time b'chayim lo kitani. Talk about nevelo that never made tumor when it was alive, meaning because it happened when you killed the animal. But the nevelos that you're mentioning, you did gistero, cut it, still alive, or they have the yarech, it's ready to time b'chayim. Right, I just forgot to mention that the shir today is Louis Nishma's great grandfather, Moshe and his wife, which is Yortzis tonight. So shir melok shoma kan sheshochat bekom chotoch, kan sheshochat shaloi bekom chotoch. The difference is did he shecht in the place where there was already a hole or not. Shochat bekom chotoch nifsal b'shchite. We just said a rule: if doing shchito the animal has a psul, so it's an avail. If the psul has nothing to do with the shchita, it's a treif. So if he's one long hole, part of the hole was done correctly, part of the hole was not done correctly, so saying it's part of the shchita. So then it's a shchita, it's an avail. If it's a different place, so then it doesn't become an avail, then it's only a treif. Right? So it depends if you connect it to it or you're not connected in that case. So the Shlokish say this concept. The kone is the breathing tube. What does it connect to? What does the breathing tube connect to? The lungs. So the lungs are part of the breathing tube. So he says like this: he shed the kone, and then the lung got a hole in it. There's no issue. Why? Meaning it's as if it's in a basket. Once he did the shchita of the kone, of the breathing tube, now what happens after that? It's already as if it was removed from the animal. I don't care that the hole happened. It's already after the shchita. So here, once I do shchita, now the fact that you're having an issue with the kone, it's after the fact. Right, let's see Loshu Rashi over here. Chaganikva Areya Ben Shchitas Kol Shchitas Aveshet. Al Kaman the Reya Tluya Bekone. Finishcha da Kone. Al Kaman Shnit La Kula Min Abeim. As if it was removed with the animal. Umonachas Besal. Vetula Mitar Abeim. So if so, Gabi Posak Ule Bosov Shochadami. There was a hole in the Shchita. Kaman the Ruba Nifsiko. The Psukas Agagas Beruba who have your Avil Kaman Bikulo. In other words, once you're ready, if it doesn't have a hole, it's not a problem. So you're talking about you have a hole beroiv. So you're saying, no, this is going to be, it's considered to be, if it's in the same place, it will be nevela, if not, it will be shchito. Why? How can it be shchito? Once you took away, you made the hole, once you had already the cut, it's considered to be sitting in a basket, similar to the rayo.
It's the same thing with shchita. Why if you shafted the simon, then it's not coming on the diffla? Why is it because you were pasuk? You say, oh, he was when pasuk the kana, would do the kana, it's not there, so then when you completed the shechita that's only did one simon. Why that should be the case? If that's the case, did you say that by shechita too? Once you shafted the kana?
No, but then you shafted the kana, what's wrong? You shafted the kana. Here talking about the kana was punctuating now through shechita. So you're saying I'm going to continue now the shechita and make it nevela or not. Why? It's already out of here. Right? So he's not going to be yoitz within nevela. You're saying that if it's not in the same place, so it's not going to be nevela. Why? It's because it'll be the one simon is not here. Says depends. Rabbi Akiva changed his mind. Rabbi Akiva originally disagreed with Rabbi Sheva, and he said it's always a treifel. Then Rabbi Akiva changed his mind and agreed, shchita or not. So he says merely what? Now let's see. So the Mishnah that says it's treifel was Rabbi Akiva before he changed his mind, and then when it says that he changed his mind, now he agrees it becomes an avail. We had a question. So you say that's the veil of the Abishat Shchito, but we have a brayso that says the two cases we had in the beginning of the Amud that says that it's going to be a nevelo. The Gemara brought because it says nevelo. Both cases are nevelo. So he said that's according to Rabbi Akiva in the beginning. Now, meaning according to Rabbi Sheva, everything that happens to Shashchito makes it into a nevelo. So you're saying anything, we wanted to say a differentiation, if it's the same place, it's not the same place, if it happened first, or happened second. It's like more now it's crazy, but no, it doesn't matter if it happened first or happened second, it doesn't happen the same place, not the same place. If it's happening during Shchito, it's a nevelo. Hi, so why did our Mishnah say treifel? The Mishnah said treifel before Chazar, before we keep it change his mind. That's what it is.
Not our Mishnah. I mean, the Mishnah they quoted on the top.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. The Mishnah there. What it says over there. Now Rashi says something very interesting over here. Look at Loshe Rashi. Rashi brings it didn't move from its place. They didn't change it. You know, Rabbi Akiva changed his mind. Even after he changed his mind, they still continue using that Loshe. One second, it's not in the same order. Because the Mishnah that we said, where is that? It's, he says that the Elu Trefois, it's a brayso. Right? No, sorry. It starts from Omud Aleph in the bottom. When it comes to Vesh, was a Gageris.
No, meaning our Mishnah is first, and the Mishnah Elu Trefois is later. So
Elu Trefois was where?
Our Mishnah, you say was Chazar,
Right. Elu Trefois is in 10 platform now, it's Dafin Beis.
Yeah. So
you're saying the our Mishnah is after Chazar. And Dafin Beis is before Chazar, it's not in order. Says Rashi, don't worry about it. Why not? Ain't said on the Mishnah. Have a God the Bechad Masech I'm reading b'fnei Eidim Yeshel Mishnah. We learn Masech of Dezaro that the same Masech you do have Sel Mishnah. Says Rashi, a big yisoid. If I have in the same Masechto, Stam and then Machlekes, or vice versa, there, Chacham and Rabbi who put the Mishnas together, he was very careful to do it right in order. So meaning, we don't not necessarily have an order in the Mishnah unless you have a reason to have the order. So that's why here we're saying this Mishnah is after Chazar, the Mishnah Kamon is before Chazar. That's what the Mishnah Kamon says it's a treifel, and the Mishnah over here says it's a nevelo. So that's when the Elu treifel that says Nekumas Aveshet, who's a Gageris, we call the treifel of now nevelo. And then that's the Gemara. That was the question at the top of the Amud. Says the Gemara really didn't change it. Now we'll stop over here because the Gemara from here goes into the next daf really until the Mishnah. So we'll leave that Be'ez Hashem for the next daf. Have a good evening.